Welcome to the Upper Room with Eugene Holden. Here at the Upper Room, we discuss how important it is to live from our spirituality, from our higher sense of self, our higher being, so to speak. Here at the Upper Room, we encourage you to embrace your identity, embody your spirituality, enhance our humanity because the world needs all of us right now. Today, my special guest is the Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, and we will be discussing the importance of living from our true, authentic selves so that we may be a beneficial presence on this beautiful planet that we call home. Welcome to the Upper Room. Yes. Good afternoon, good morning, good day, everyone. Welcome to the Upper Room. I'm Eugene Holden. And here at the Upper Room, we dive into the current events, what's going on today. And not only that, though, looking at why we may be in the situations that we're in, but more importantly, how we can use our spirituality, call it whatever you want to call it, your spirituality from your higher self, your higher power to flow through this thing called life. And today I have the honor and the privilege of having a good friend of mine on, and that's the Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Raymont Anderson. Dr. Raymont is an ordained Center for Spiritual Living minister and serves as the founding minister and the spiritual director of the Center of Spiritually Integrated Arts, the director of the Center of Spiritually Integrated Arts, which is a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. Dr. Raymont brings his years of being an artist, performer, educator, and lover of comics and film to all areas of his life and his ministry. Dr. Raymont is frequently sought after. He's a sought after guest minister and speaker at various churches, centers, and events. In addition to his ministry work, Dr. Raymont teaches workshops related to radical self-care, living with purpose, inclusion, diversity, and more. He is also a professional visual artist, performing artist, and author. Dr. Raymont was an interpreter in the deaf community for over 25 years. He worked with the Wild Zappers and the National Deaf Dance Theater as their full-time interpreter and guest performing artist for several years. Dr. Raymont was also an ASLTA certified teacher and for many years conducted workshops and classes related to various aspects of ASL, American Sign Language. When he is not teaching, Dr. Raymont is, let me back that up. When he is not teaching, speaking, writing, creating, or performing, etc., Dr. Raymont is spending time, you're going to love this one. Dr. Raymont is spending time with his family, which includes harassing his amazing grandkids. I give you and welcome Dr. Raymont Anderson.
Aloha, bonjour, guten tag, konnichiwa, ni hao, wherever you at, hello.
Yeah, here we go again. What? Oh man, I'm here with you, and doing what we do.
Amen.
One of the things that I appreciate about our relationship is yes, we are two individuals who can and do go deep. And that sense of humor that we share is pretty amazing, right? Yeah. So during this half hour, 45 minutes, whatever it will be, I'm sure that we're going to get into some very, deep conversation, but also some laughter, of course, because that's a part of this thing called life. So Raymond, I want to start off with this question here. It appears and it seems like there's a lot of strife and struggle going on, in the world. And I'm going to stick specifically to this nation, this beautiful nation of ours. What do you, from your perspective, what do you attribute that to?
Well, the short and simple answer prior to the United States of America becoming the United States of America, Turtle Island did their
Yeah.
thing. And then those who came with a certain consciousness that said, gimme, 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 mine, 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 destroy and kill, laid into the very foundation of the soil this vibration of, I have to take it. And if you get in my way, I am willing to kill you to have more and more and more, because more gives me more, what they think is power, but it's actually pseudo power, but more and more. And that has been the predominant consciousness in this nation since.
Ever since. Yeah, I didn't expect you to go back there, but I'm glad that you did.
I'm just saying, that's why I was like, well, if we're going to go there,
Right, right.
I mean, we can call it whatever we want to call it, the consciousness of colonization or like whatever it is. It's that, because if we really look at all of the things that, like whatever it is, segregation and racism and like wherever we look, if we look deep enough, then there it is, colonization. Okay, wait a minute. There it is there. All of it traces back to the consciousness of, I have to take in order to gain. I can't share. This ain't share. This is, I'm willing to listen here, Mr. Native Indian. Sign this treaty, and we all give to. Come on now. The president has authorized me to give you full expansiveness. They just put your signature, yes, or thumbprint, whatever. And then as soon as the ink was still wet, as soon as it was done, the treaty was broken.
Right.
So it's built on a whole bunch of lies, a whole bunch of greed, a whole bunch of ever since.
Still today in some form or fashion. Still today.
That's what I'm saying. Still today.
I mean, wasn't there a reversal of some Supreme Court order just recently in the last year?
Yes. And I can't remember the specifics of it. And you're talking about regarding Indigenous Americans?
No, but Wade versus Roe.
Oh yeah, that. Yes.
And then there's that, so that consciousness, that way of thinking, that frame of mind has been going on since.
Yes. And for me, the thing is, what do we call this? The land of the free, home of the brave. I'm going to take brave off for a second. The land of the free. What does that mean? Right? What does that mean? And if we're going to talk about liberty and justice and equity and all the buzzwords that, can go under the umbrella of freedom, since when has removing someone's civil right, human right, right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, when did that become a thing we start removing from people?
Right.
Especially when predominantly it's a group of old white men making decisions about women's bodies, even against, your thing is the law. That's, see, as Eugene and I were speaking recently, Eugene is a master percussionist. I am not. I am not. I am not the expert who would be giving Eugene or dictating to Eugene or legislating to Eugene what Eugene should buy or play or for care of and maintenance of. That's not my wheelhouse. So then how do I, as a man, cisgender man, how do I make decisions that say, well, women should not be allowed to? Time out. Especially when medical professionals are like, what? Right. No, what? Who gives these folks the audacity and the right to, let's colonization? Because that pseudo-Christian ideology that says we have to be this, that, and the other, and this is against that. all of that. So yes, here's the Supreme Court justices
Right.
removing people's rights.
It just amazes me, to that here we are in 2023. And I remember saying this in 2008 when my sons moved with me in Denver, going through some racial stuff. And here it is, 15 years later, still talking about the same thing, right? 100 years later, and so, how do we, and I believe this to be true, how do we as spiritual beings, again, I believe everyone is, not everybody recognizes that, and that's okay, right? But how do those who do, like you and I and others, how do we navigate through this thing called life with all of this going on? Because there's no, pretending like none of this stuff is going on. You can't do that. I've tried. It doesn't work.
Right.
It's all good. No, it's not. Ultimately, yes, but right about now,
yeah. See, in the absolute, yes, it's fine. Like no matter what it is, it's fine. I remind folks, like when we talk spirituality stuff, bring it down to, because talking about God from this perspective, you're not going to gather anything, you're not going to understand anything, you're keeping it very separate, you're not making it intimate or personal. Let's bump it down to the degree that says, I could have a teacup or coffee cup filled with coffee and then put some poison in it. Now we know that it's toxic. I just showed you I put some poison in it. It's going to kill you if you drink it. So on one level, it is not, but it's all good. It is not. But if we all the way down to the level of the atomic structure of it, there's nothing in there that says, well, that atom is bad and that molecule is bad. They're doing what they do at the atomic, molecular, quantum level. They're just being what they are energetically. But bring it to the human level and I drink it, I'm not going to be here in this form no more. And then my dead corpse will be on the ground, and yet those same atoms and molecules will still be moving,
right?
Even though I am not. So on one level, yes, it is all good because it is all God. But that does not mean to deny or ignore the reality of it's harmful, it's poisonous, it's toxic. I'm like, why is it so difficult for people to really gather? Oh, because colonization does the whole look into my eyes. Don't look at what the hell of her hand is doing, and then to move the card, and then pick which one. Like it's a sleight of hand trick. So to answer your question, one of the first things that comes to mind for me is regarding, well, what am I to do?
Right.
And I've been really encouraging others to, marinate on the same kind of concept. When Mamie Till Mobley's son, Emmett Till, was lynched, and, she gets to the point where she's like, okay, number one, I'm going to show the world what these people did to my son.
Right.
And then she gets to a point where she says, so there was a time when, I'm up in Chicago, I'm comfortable in the apartment, and I was up, what's going on with those Negroes in Mississippi? That's their thing. Nothing to do with me. Till they killed my son. And then I realized that the business of any of us anywhere had better be the business of all of us everywhere. Just like Fannie Lou Hamer said, nobody's free until everybody's free.
That's right.
So for me, how do I liberate me to then be able to assist in liberating others? It's the Harriet Tubman consciousness, right? Harriet Tubman had to get herself free first, before the Underground Railroad could become a thing for her to then do the same thing for others. So what is mine to do? How do I live my spiritual practice in such a way where I am as real as I can possibly be, as authentic as I can possibly be, as vulnerable as I can possibly be. Because in that process, one, it's actually building my quote unquote, my spiritual muscles. But then it also enables and empowers others to recognize they're not alone. Trauma, pain, suffering, fear. There are other people, because I'm sure there are folks that you know who will not tell you what's really going on in their lives, because on some level in their mind they think, well, I don't want Eugene to think less of me because
Right.
he's a practitioner at this level and I'm a practitioner at this level, and if I share with him what's really going on in my life, then I'm not going to share. And we
Hmm.
actually do a disservice to everyone when we do that.
Right.
So how can I, like, what is my process of how can I be as open, honest, real, authentic, vulnerable as humanly possible in every area of my life? I don't know. Did that answer his question? I don't know. What
Yeah, it
was the
did.
question?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. It did. It did. And there was a word that you used. You said twice. Well, there are a few words you said twice, but this is the one that I want you to elaborate on, and that's vulnerability, being vulnerable. Because when you look up the definition, or when I look up the definition, it speaks about a weakness, right? That there's that part of the wall is vulnerable, right, or whatever it is. But at the retreat a year or so ago, you and I, we were at with the practitioners.
Mhm.
There was something that, let me just do it this. Let me do it this way, Ray. Speak to us about vulnerability, being vulnerable. What does that mean for you?
For me, so I'm going to use an analogy. We understand that human contact, physical contact, is extremely important. If a baby is denied the loving embrace of whoever the caretaker is, there are certain things that the baby goes through. They atrophy emotionally and stuff because they're not receiving the loving touch. So as a culture, what we have done is we have taught ourselves how to put armor upon armor upon armor upon armor. And then we get to a point where, like, I'm gonna use you and me. We're heavily armored, like we're ready to fight in King Arthur's army. And then we're gonna give each other a hug. Clink clink. But our heart space, because my armor is about 8-9 inches away from my heart, your armor is about 8-9 inches away from your heart, so that's like 20 inches right there. So we can't even, well, wait, clink clink clink, what? Okay, I'm not. Vulnerability is, I have no reason to be in my armor if I'm going to hug you. Vulnerability says take it off. Vulnerability says be in a state of understanding that you can't really be hurt. Right? Like when I'm being vulnerable online on social media, because people have said to me, Ray, you share stuff like, aren't you scared that someone will? No, I'm not.
Right.
No, I'm not scared that someone will, judge me as a minister because of, or judge me as a practitioner because of, or no. Why would I operate from that space of fear? And even to the degree where people say, well, aren't you afraid that, by being out there that, someone may try to kill you? Well, I have a stalker right now who tried to kill me in 2000. Traveled from Pittsburgh. I was living in Richmond, Virginia. Traveled from Pittsburgh to Richmond, attacked me at like 3 o'clock in the morning while I was asleep, tried to kill me, then made his way to Florida, got snagged up, captured, locked up, and then shipped back to Pittsburgh where they put him in a mental institution for a while. But he's back out. And he found me on Facebook. Now, he thinks I live somewhere where I don't. And I'm going to keep it that way. Not because I'm afraid, But because when he attacked me then, he injured my dog because glass shattered. He injured the person that I was dating at the time. I'm not going to endanger them. But I'm not afraid because I know that this thing called life is eternal. So
Mm.
at some point, this is going to die. But the thing back of it can't. So if I live in fear of this thing dying because someone can kill me, then I should be in fear of COVID could kill me, or that could kill me, food poisoning could kill me, being hit by a car could kill me, the plane going down could kill me. I should be afraid of everything potentially killing me because everything potentially could. The house right now could cave in and kill me. A tornado could kill. So if I'm going to be afraid of this thing dying, then I'm going to constantly be in fear of dying. And
Right.
I'm not going to live that way.
Right.
So no, I'm not afraid of someone using something against me. I'm not afraid of secrets because I don't want secrets. I don't have secrets anymore. So that, for that exact reason, so that no one can use them against me. So vulnerability is I have nothing to hide from anyone. And when I'm connecting with you, I want to be able to connect with you heart to heart, soul to soul, body to body, life to life. I don't want there to be a barrier in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Which brought up something else about this fear of death. Not I'm going to get to this the bodily death, but also Ray, aren't you afraid that people are going to talk about you? And now and of course you're not. And some people are afraid of their reputation being killed,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever the judgment is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And which is an interesting thing because all of a sudden I had this thought about, okay, so how can I trace this back to colonization? Right. But let's
Mm-hmm.
not go there yet. So, but I have to make a note of that. But in terms of this body, this body dying, the body's going to do what it's going to do. I tell clients who come in who talk about, the fear of death. And I remind them and anybody else who will listen that the moment that we're born, we're on our way
Yep.
because it's just a part of the process.
Yep.
Somebody said to me years ago that death is not the opposite of life. Death is the opposite of birth. Life is eternal.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Right.
Amen.
So when we're talking about being afraid of having our character smashed or whatever,
Besmirched.
besmudged. I should be smudged. And I have to admit that I have been one of those people who were afraid of
Mm-hmm.
being besmudged and besmirched.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of
Yep.
word is besmirched? Who makes these things up? Yeah, that's what it means. Says who? And because of that experience, I know how it feels to live in fear,
Mm-hmm.
waking up afraid.
Uh-huh.
I remember waking up. I mean, which was a constant experience. Waking up scared.
Yep.
What are you scared of? I'm afraid they're going to find out. Find out what?
Right. Right. Yep.
Find out that you're brilliant.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And even when people find out, like, because I too have, didn't I have fear that the besmirchment of, I don't even know if that's a word, besmirchment of my character and my good name, you know, but why? Because the moment someone finds out that you're a black gay man, oh yeah, because that does sort of ruin your reputation, especially when you're in the Christian church and you're doing all this Christian churchy stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I know you ain't looking me up and down like, say what you got to say. Well, we just heard that. Okay, what about it? Is it true? Does it matter? Well, for me, it did matter, which is why I was terrified about Is anyone going to find out? What if they do? Do I lie? Do
Right.
I tell the truth? Like, what do I do? What if that hypervigilance
Whew.
will kill you,
Will kill you.
right? Like I ended up with ulcers and like all migraine headaches and stuff because you're constantly living in terror. It's not even just fear, it's
Right.
terror of. And even when we talk about today, people who are terrified of being canceled, cancel culture, people who are terrified of um, someone finding out whatever it is, finding out I'm not as good at whatever it is they think I'm good at, or
Right.
what imposter syndrome and all of these things. Well, if you really knew the real me, then you wouldn't. Well, tell me who is the real you.
Right.
Like, let's have a conversation about, well, who is the real you then, so that we get to the nitty gritty of the nuts and bolts of, so that all of the fear can be gone. Yeah, we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time, keeping the fortress and the barriers up so that people can't really know us for fear of if they knew the real me. Pause for a second. Do you realize that
Oh,
the real you is the same real me? There is only one power and only one presence, only one life and
right.
only one mind. The thing itself, some call God, some call source, some call it the universe. Whatever that is who you truly are. And that
We
is
are.
who I truly am. So there is no reason for me, right, to judge that about you when it's the truth about me. So when you say the real you, what are we talking about? Your personality? What are we talking about? Your addictions? What are we talking about? The things that you feel guilty and shameful of? What are we talking about? So we can have a real conversation about it so you can let that go.
Right. Yeah. Will the real I am please stand up?
Amen.
You know, if in one of the, when I heard you saying so, if you found out who I really was, then I would be loved.
Right.
And
Exactly.
sometimes, right. And I don't know, I'm afraid of love because I've been hurt. No, love doesn't hurt. I've
True
been
that a thousand
heartbroken.
times.
What's that?
I said, true that a thousand times.
A thousand
Love does
times.
not hurt.
Love doesn't hurt. The ego hurts, but love does. I was speaking with a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. She had mentioned to me regarding my past relationship with my ex-wife, my former wife. So this
Mhm.
goes back years and years and years, right? And so, okay, maybe years and years, not years and years and years, but maybe just years and years, because I'm
Come
not
on,
years and years old.
make the
Okay.
math, Eugene. Come on.
And she said, you thought you had this perfect love, which was toxic. You had a perfect love that was toxic. And after I got off the phone, I'm like, wait a minute. Love is never toxic.
Right, right,
Love is never toxic. I
right,
may have thought it was love. I may have, but
right,
she didn't. Whatever that was. But the point is that love is never toxic.
right,
Love does not hurt. The heart doesn't break. The ego breaks.
right,
I came
right.
across something, man, along that line where we sometimes experience what they call the dark night of the soul. No,
Hmm.
it's just the dark night of the ego. It's the healing of the soul.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, whoa, yeah. Well, we need to bless him. We need to pray for his soul. Right. It's perfect.
Right. Exactly. 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 Yes. Yes.
We
And
may,
I was going to say, and I remind folks that, yes, when you come out as a more authentic, whatever, real, whatever version of yourself, so you let people know that, you know, these are the things you have struggled with, or that you're gay, or whatever it is. Does that automatically mean that everyone's going to appreciate you and love you for no, it doesn't. Because that's their thing, though. That's
right,
their thing. Has
right,
nothing to do with you. So I also remind them that, yes, coming out of whatever it is, coming out as a nerd, coming out as LGBTQ, coming out as a proud Black person, like whatever that is, there are going to be people who are like, what? Wait, what just happened? Jeremiah used to sit back in the, quiet. Now all of a sudden Jeremiah's like, I need a new black friend. He's too loud now. Like what? 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 No. Mm-mm.
Right.
Nope. Not playing that
Mm-mm.
game anymore.
No. Mm-mm. Mm. Mm. Uh. Has me go to, we've talked about this before, about not ordering from the 99-cent menu, right? And not living from the 99-cent menu. I don't want any chicken nuggets. I want the top of the line. Why? Because I am the top of the line, as
Amen.
all of us are. Yeah, man.
Amen. Amen. Far too many of us. Now, okay, let's bump it down to in the real nitty gritty of the world. Yes, there are many people who live in a food desert where the 99-cent menu is
Yes.
currently what they are relegated to, just because of, once again, colonization and the effect of what it means to put these certain stores in certain areas, which until such time as that system is changed, then yes, that is a thing. And yet there are many of us who have the variety of options, and we still do 99-cent menu, dollar menu spirituality and religion. We do 99-cent dollar menu politics and education. We do relationships, self-care, self-worth. We are choosing to select from, well, Ray, it's better that she slaps me every day and it hurts, but it's better for me to do that than not have. Isn't it better to have love than no love at all? What? That's not. Didn't you hear what Eugene said in the upper
Right.
room? That's not love.
That's not
You're,
love.
that's not love, and that's not nutritious, not the way it could be. Food. Nourish yourself with the fullness of what is available to you, with your spirituality, with your self care, with your self worth, with your relationships. You don't settle for, you're settling for, I don't even know what's behind. Okay, in a plane, you get first class, and then what? I guess in the back it's coach. What's after coach? Outside the plane, which means fall. You're settling for outside the plane.
Right.
You're not going anywhere then. So, stop settling for that. Make up your mind that I deserve a 5-star menu. I deserve a 5-star meal. And what does that look like in your relationships, in your finances, in your wherever you go, as a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a center, whatever? What does all of that look like I am a 5-star human being.
That's
I'm a
right.
5-star incarnation of the divine. Why would I allow myself to receive anything less than what I am? No, 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 no. Spent too many years doing that.
That's a powerful way to think. Why would I? That's a powerful question. Why would I allow myself to accept anything less than? Will not, do not settle.
Not anymore.
No. And the reason why we can talk about it, because we've been there.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
why. What is the Greek mythology? Chiron, the wounded healer, because of his wound, is what gave him the capacity to have greater empathy and understand the pain that another was going through, for him to then be able to be more effective as a healer for them.
Right.
Because we've been on that side of, won't somebody love me, please?
Please, God, please.
Right. I promise, dear Lord and baby Jesus, I promise that if you just give me this one thing, I promise I'll never do A, B, C, D, E, F, G ever again. Why are you bargaining with the universe? You're bargaining with God. Like somehow God is like, until you say pretty please. with the
Right?
cherry on top. What?
Right.
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
But
Does not
precisely
work
like you
that
said,
way
because
at
we were
all.
there at one point, we understand it.
Right. Like, it's true. Been there, done that. Doesn't work.
Yep.
Doesn't work. And it's because we've been there, done that we know what does work.
Right.
It's like, okay,
Right.
that doesn't work. You know, and there is no God that's out there that causes things to happen, and you you hit me to this in this song, waiting in the water, till God's gonna stir up the water. So okay, so I'm going through whatever I'm going through, and that God is within me, that
Uh-huh.
infinite intelligence, that spirit. So there's something within me that's stirring up the water to wake me up.
Uh-huh.
Homie, this is not the way to go. This is not, no. No, this is 99. No, I'm sorry, 98 cent. We don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why we're here.
Right. Right.
One of the things, and then we're going to close this up. I've been hearing again, just trying to survive, just trying to survive. I'm like, no, we are not created to survive. We have been set up to thrive. And I use that intentionally. We've been set up. We've been given everything that we can possibly need or want to thrive. Why not?
Man, for this Sunday's message, I was doing some research because this Sunday's message is talking about
Individualizing.
having this personalization or personal relationship with the infinite and blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah. And so, I do my Ray thing, and I'm going through some stuff, and I was like, you know what? I remember someone saying this years ago. What are the odds that I am me? Like, how many eggs, how many sperm had to be in play for that one particular sperm to reach that one particular egg to then become me? Right. And then all of the other factors. What are the odds that Lois and Charles were the ones who offered the sperm and the egg? And then their parents and their parents, and so on and so on. So, like, when you do the math, this guy, I can't think of his doctor's name, he said the odds of you being born are as small as, one of those round life preserver things?
Yeah.
If we just threw it out into the middle of the ocean, and there's one turtle somewhere in the oceans in the world, and on this one particular time, exactly where you threw the little buoy thing, that same turtle, because there's only one, pokes its head up in the center of the buoy thing on the very first try. It's like 1 in 700 trillion. You are a 1 in 700 trillion. I am a 1 in 700 trillion.
Right.
We're set up to thrive.
We set up to thrive. Set up.
We have defeated the odds of existing.
Right.
Of being in existence. And that's, I'm not talking spirituality right now. I'm talking sheer biology.
Right.
Mathematical biology. We have overcome such odds just in becoming alive. Man, with odds like that, look, I don't play the lotto and stuff, but hey, I'm going to stop. Like, why not put that same power of thriving to everything else? Relationships and business and romance and, family time and whatever it is you want. You've already beat the odds to be you. So, like, go all out.
Again, two of my favorite words. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible. And the people may think I'm nuts on this one. Oh, they think I'm nuts regardless. I don't care. It's not possible for us to fail.
Not
It's
true.
not possible.
Nope.
It's not possible for us to not be loved.
Yep.
It's not possible, right? So, I knew this would happen. And that's okay, because that's what we do. I looked at the time like, okay. My brother, Reverend Dr. Sifu Raymont Anderson. What would you like to leave the people with? What do you want them to know from you from here in the upper room today?
So, piggybacking off of what you just said, you cannot fail and you cannot be void of love. So, think about what it is you want to experience in your life. Do you want to experience greater connection with family? And that may mean family of choice, family, friends. Does it mean increased financial wealth and abundance? Does it mean having a sense of confidence and boldness in just being alive, just being you? Whatever it is, what is it that you want to experience? And then find and surround yourself with people who help you be that, help you do that, and help you have that. And anyone or anything, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the church you go to. I don't care if it's the minister that you have. I don't care if it's your next door neighbor. I don't care if it's your mom. Because I had this relationship with my mom. If the person is siphoning your life energy away from you and makes you feel less than, makes you feel unloved, makes you feel like a failure, then that's not the place for you. So surround yourself, be in community where you are truly acknowledged and honored and celebrated and supported. And if you don't know how to find it, I'm sure, reach out to me, reach out to Eugene, reach out and touch. Like, there are enough people out here. Find what you want and let the community help build it with you.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
My dear brother, I want to thank you. I like this, how that just comes in. I want to thank you for being on the upper room today, man. And this is the first time that you were on, but it won't be the last, because, this is what we do.
Amen.
All righty. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'll see you next week on the upper room, Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Peace and blessings.